How's it going, YouTube? My name is LBNinja7, your resident Mistweaver monk, and guys, Season 2 starts today. The day that I am posting this video, Season 2 is probably uploading on your computer, and if you are a Mistweaver player, you're probably wondering, what do we do? If I'm going to be raiding, what playstyle should I play? Should I play the new Clouded Focus playstyle? Week 1, I won't have the tier set. There's no mana buffs that I'm getting. What should I play? And my answer is, if you want to go ahead and practice for when you get the tier set, feel free to play this Clouded Focus build, where you go Clouded Focus and Yu'lon. Sorry, Rob's Elite. I got to decline that. But if you don't care about practicing, if you feel confident enough and just want to play what's going to be best week 1, then you're going to want to Fistweave. And by Fistweave, I just mean Ancient Teachings playstyle, Rising Mist, those synergies. Spirit of the Crane. So let's go ahead and do a really quick guide to get you guys started for raiding for week 1 of season 2. So this is going to be a good starter talent build. You have plenty of defensives for raiding, which is always good and what you need. You can kind of cater the rest of these talents to get whatever buffs your raid group needs. If you need wind walking, get that, but you're always going to want to go save them all. And then summon Jade Serpent Statue is just a free extra source of healing. It's not required, but it's still just very good. That's that talent tree. There's nothing too important on it as long as you're taking the damage buffs to your Rising Sun Kick. Now let's come over to this talent tree. Now nothing has really changed since season 1, but I didn't really do a real in-depth raid guide for season 1. I did a lot of Mythic Plus content, but let's go and jump into it. So we are running Chi-Ji over Yu'lon. It's better for fist weaving. It's very mana efficient if we are playing around Ancient Teachings, because we are getting a lot of healing from Chi-Ji while also getting a lot of healing from Ancient Teachings and getting those free enveloping mists. So if you don't know how Chi-Ji works, I do have a Chi-Ji guide, which I will leave down in the description below. But the rest of this build is really just playing around Ancient Teachings. The free hots that you're going to be getting from these 3 talents are going to be very crucial. And then once we get these free renewing mists, we're going to be cleaving our Vivifies with them. So you really want to be pressing Vivify anytime that you have 5 or more renewing mists out. So obviously we have 2 renewing mist charges, but when we Rising Sun Kick, we're going to be applying another renewing mist. So I just applied my 2 renewing mist charges, but if I Rising Sun Kick, there is now a 3rd one out because we're running Rapid Diffusion. So how this playstyle works is we are going to press Essence Font on cooldown, which it costs a ton of mana, but with the amount of mana efficiency that the rest of this build offers, we can afford to do so. So we're going to press Essence Font on cooldown, and that is going to give us an Ancient Teachings buff. Now, Ancient Teachings turns our damage into healing. You saw that 66,000 heal. Now, it does this, let's go ahead and read it, when you do your Essence Font, or Feline Stomp, but right now we're just running Essence Font. When you cast Essence Font, you'll give yourself a buff for 15 seconds. And for those 15 seconds, your Tiger Palm, Blackout Kick, and Rising Sun Kick will heal up to 5 injured allies for 150% of the damage, and that's going to be split among the people that are healed. So I do have a really good video up about how Ancient Teachings works. I'll also leave that down in the description. But you guys know how Ancient Teachings and how Mistweaver works. I have plenty of guides that you guys can access, so let's just go ahead and get into the playstyle. So we're going to Essence Font on cooldown. We're going to use our Renewing Mist charges on cooldown. And then from there, we are just going to cycle. We're going to prioritize Rising Sun Kick. While it's on cooldown, we're going to press Blackout Kick. And while Blackout Kick and Rising Sun Kick are on cooldown, we are going to press Tiger Palm. And that will give us a good cycle of we're going to press Rising Sun Kick whenever it's available. That's going to give us a lot of Rising Mist procs. It's going to give us a lot of Rapid Diffusion procs and just really good healing from Ancient Teachings. But then when it's on cooldown, the Blackout Kicks have a chance to reset the cooldown of Rising Sun Kick. So let me reapply that buff. We're going to Rising Sun Kick, and we're going to Blackout Kick and see it reset the cooldown. See, now that it was off cooldown, I press it. Blackout Kick's off cooldown, I press it. Both are on cooldown, I'm Tiger Palming. so on and so forth. So that is how we're going to cycle these 3 abilities, but notice how I was not pressing Renewing Mist or Essence Font. That's a no-no. We want to press those on cooldown just because they're good healing. Now, those are the basics. Press Renewing Mist, Essence Font on cooldown, Rising Sun Kick on cooldown, and then do the filler of Tiger Palm and Blackout Kick. But, like I said, we really want to be pressing Vivify anytime that there are 5 or more Renewing Mists out there, and that's going to give us a lot of cleave healing from Invigorating Mist. So now we can add that into our rotation. So let's go ahead and apply 2 before we start punching and kicking. We're going to Essence Font, give ourselves the Ancient Teachings buff, and now we're just going to start kicking. Doing our rotation, Renewing Mist came off cooldown. We're doing our kicks that are extending all these hots, and then we have more than 5 Vivifies or Renewing Mist out, so we can press Vivify a couple times, and boom, that's just rinse and repeat, ton of healing coming out. Now let's talk about our cooldowns. So we have Chi-Ji, we have Sheilun's Gift, and we have Revival. Now, Revival is going to be more of a raid cooldown. Your raid leader will likely have that mapped and decided where that's going to be used, because it's just a one button, you press it, and it just does a ton of healing all at once. So there's no real guide for me to tell you when to use that. Just use it right after a big burst. That's the easiest way to say it. It's just, you can't see it in this room for some reason. It's bugged and won't heal these dummies. But you press it and it just does a ton of healing. Now let's talk about Chi-Ji. Like I said, there's going to be a guide down in the video or down in the description below on how to use Chi-Ji. But we're going to summon Chi-Ji next to us, and we're going to make sure that we come into our Chi-Ji with Essence Font already applied, so that we have that Ancient Teachings buff and don't have to waste our first global cooldown while Chi-Ji's out on casting Essence Font. So Chi-Ji, we summon her for 24 seconds, and while she's out, or I'm sorry, 25 seconds, while she's out, every kick that we do, so Rising Sun Kick, Blackout Kick, and Spinning Crane Kick, but we don't use Spinning Crane Kick in raids, so every Blackout Kick and Rising Sun Kick will kick up 2 Gusts of Mist, which are our Mastery procs. So we're going to be getting a lot of Mastery healing while Chi-Ji is out, but every kick will also give us a stack. Now, each stack reduces the cast time and mana cost of our next Enveloping Mist by 33%, so by a third. So if we have 3 stacks, our next Enveloping Mist is free. If we have 2 stacks, it is very quick to cast and very cheap. If we have 1 stack, it's a little cheaper, a little quicker to cast. So we're going to go ahead and apply our Chi-Ji, or apply our Ancient Teachings, apply our Renewing Mists, and then we're going to summon Chi-Ji and just start kicking. Start our little rotation. See, our stacks are right here. I did 3 kicks, so a free Enveloping Mist. I did 2 kicks, a very cheap Enveloping Mist. I did 1 kick, a little cheap Enveloping Mist. You usually want to have 2 stacks or 3 stacks before pressing Enveloping Mist while Chi-Ji is out. Now notice how we were getting a lot of Rising Sun Kicks and a lot of Enveloping Mists out. And if you remember, Rapid Diffusion works off of both of those spells. So while you're in your Chi-Ji window, you're going to be spawning a lot of Renewing Mists out on people. So you're going to want to do a couple kicks, do a couple rotations of Chi-Ji while she's out. So spend about 10 seconds punching, kicking, Enveloping Mist, punching, kicking, Enveloping Mist, and then start spamming some Vivifies to really capitalize on those Renewing Mists, and then get back to it while Chi-Ji's still out. You have 25 seconds. It's nice to do 2 really big 10-second ramps and then cash in those Renewing Mists with Vivifies. So that is that cooldown. Chi-Ji is very fun to use, and it really adds to a ton of healing to your arsenal, because she just does a lot of healing, and most of it's free, and it's already in your rotation of what you're doing. The only thing different is the Enveloping Mists. Now let's get into Sheilun's Gift, or Xiao's Lesson. Now, you guys probably know how this works. While we're in combat, so right now I'm in combat, you see this one that just appeared here? We are spawning little clouds of mist all over the room, and it'll spawn periodically. Now, they spawn twice as fast when we have Veil of Pride, so it can get stronger quicker if we have Veil of Pride. But if we're okay with its building up or ramping up slower, then we go Xiao's Lesson, because Xiao's Lesson gives us huge buffs. Now, I'll let you guys pause it and read these 4 buffs, or you probably have your game open on your other monitor, and these buffs are all very, very powerful. So Shayloon's Gift in itself is not really designed for raid. It doesn't do a ton of raid healing, but it does a good chunk of healing. The best part about this is when you get the buff. The buff is why you play this, because the buff is just so powerful. So you're going to want to line this up when big damage instances happen. So if you know a big portion of damage is about to hit your raid, then go ahead and cast Shayloon's Gift. And let's see, which buff are we getting? We get 35% more damage and healing for 25 seconds. So we are now healing 35% more for 25 seconds. So it's just, you get insane buffs. So you want to really use that at the beginning of big damage instances just for the buff, honestly. And then it's really good to pair with Revival or Chi-Ji, especially Chi-Ji, because there's one of these that gives you a big haste buff, and haste is great while Chi-Ji's out. But yeah, you're just going to want to pair this with one of those other two abilities and just use it when the damage is coming and going to hit your raid. But guys, this is just a really quick raid guide for jumping into Mistweaver. It should not be too hard, just as long as you have a good UI where you can know, or just a good understanding of you know to press your Renewing Mist. Don't sit at 2 stacks all the time. Never sit here and be punching and kicking. Like, never be punching and kicking while you don't have Ancient Teachings. So always make sure you have Essence Font applied so that your Ancient Teachings is getting value while you're punching and kicking. And then from there, just keep an eye on roughly how many Renewing Mists you have out. And once you have a good bit out, like 5, 6 plus, then just start spamming some Vivifies. Really cash in on that value of all that ramp up that you've been doing, getting all those Renewing Mists and extending them with Rising Mist. Just cash them in and just start casting Vivify, and you'll get a lot of value there. And this should be a good foundation for jumping in week 1. I would not stress too much about perfecting this build, since we're gonna soon replace it if we're worried about optimizing to the extreme with this Yulon build. So guys, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you guys learned something or just got a quick refresher before starting season 2. I'm so excited to get into this new raid. I don't know about you guys, but there's gonna be a ton of Mistweaver content coming your way specifically for raid and Mythic Plus. Not really much PvP stuff coming your way, but a lot of Mistweaver stuff coming your way. So make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss anything. Like the video if you liked it, and check out the links in the description because it's all there to help you guys. No matter how good you think you are, there might be something there for you. But guys, thank you so much for checking out my video and taking the time to click all these sellout buttons. But I am gonna go ahead and go to bed and sleep before the raid comes out. So I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. Oh, by the way, if this video is live, it means that it is Tuesday and that season 2 has started officially, and I will be streaming the raid. So guys, check that out on Twitch. I have the same name on Twitch, LBNinja7. And that's my last plug, my last sellout. And guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.